Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So I've gone ahead, I'm going to go ahead and work with pigs. I think it's probably something that's possible. It avoids chickens and sheep, which have the issue of pallets, which I'm just not ready to tackle right now. Maybe one of these days I'll go ahead and decide to do that. But right now is not one of them. So I think this is going to work for a location. And what I did, if you recall, when I was playing with these before, I said I couldn't place them, but there's some free mode that basically I think ignores obstructions, and so it was suggested that I do that. It looks like I've got 3 points I need to get to, so I think this gives me enough clearance. If not, maybe that little tree in the back is something I need to take out. The benefit of putting this in now is it gives me a bit of time before winter, it puts it in before winter, so there we go. So we've got that there, and I may go ahead and, do some other work beyond that, but if nothing else, I think I can come around here, back in. Might not be the most convenient thing in the world. And so I've never worked with pigs before, so this is definitely something brand new for me. But my thought was, I'm going to be able to try it. We'll be able to kind of enjoy the learning together. And more importantly, I can always, sell things and back out if I need to. So the other thing I need to do is get an animal permit. So I'm able to do a single pen of swine, and it's going to cost me $10,000 to do those. Alright, and as you can see, basically these permits, like everything else, are 15 days long, so I just need to make sure that I keep it extended. So I'm going to go ahead and extend it for another 15 days. At this point I'd have to put more money in my account, that's why it's giving me this information. But at this point I'm good into May, which will certainly give me enough time to give this a real go and determine if I have any issues with it. So the next thing I need is a way to get animals from the animal dealer to and from my farm. Again, with pigs, the only way for me to do anything with them to make money is to let them grow and then sell them. So I'm going to be transporting them regularly, whether it's getting new ones in initially, and I'm going to start with maybe, I'm thinking 20. I'll see once I get to the animal dealer what it feels like. But that bin will take, or that pen will take up to 108, so I didn't want to go hog wild and go crazy with it and make it too large. But they're also going to produce their own little piggies, so I want to give that a chance, but more importantly, I don't want to create a situation where it's so burdensome to keep them going. But with that, I really have two choices, because these are really horse trailers. So I can do 13 pigs with this, or I can do 36 pigs with this. And this is a truck, and this is a tractor. So I'm going to go ahead and get this. And the only change I'm going to make is set the rims to black, which is kind of what I'm doing as a standard in my farm. I'm going to go ahead and buy this. So the other things I would need at this point are things to transport water and things to transport food. Right now I'm likely going to have to buy pig food because I don't have any crops in stock that they can eat, so I'm going to have to maybe plan ahead and maybe plant a little section to do something for them, or just continue to buy pig food. I'm really not sure how that's all going to play out, but that's part of the learning curve. So I have this tanker, and it will transport water, so I've already got coverage. It's obviously going to be a little more challenging to get in there than a small tanker, but it should be okay. And then at this point, I would also then just use my trailer that I used to transport the pallets of honey to transport my pig food. So the only other thing I may need, but I'll worry about that as I go along and kind of learn the needs, is some sort of a implement with a shovel on it, because I think I'm going to have to scoop things up and kind of put manure back into bins and so forth. But I'm going to go get my trailer, and then we're going to go ahead and get us our starting group of pigs, and that will give us some more information of what we need to do. Alright, so I've driven on over here, over to the animal dealer. Got a lot of animals out there in the field. So I just need to figure out where we need to go. I'm sure that chute is probably the place. Not quite sure what what that is for. Might be a place to sell things, obviously, maybe animals and other things. Let's pop on out here. We'll go to our animal dialogue. Alright, so I'm trying to determine here how I do this in a way that I don't have to pay the transport fee. I'm hoping that's possible. Right, so yes, it is possible. So there you go. So I just have to do it from within the truck. Alright, so after looking over my options for a bit, because again, I've never done pigs. I've certainly never done animals in FS22, so there's that challenge too. Unlike cattle, which I'm a little more familiar with, because I've at least taken care of them for other people, the pigs don't differentiate at all. They're just pigs. They can be sold for a profit. Basically, the phrasing you see here is the same. They eat anything. We know that. They require water. And so my choice is, do I start with piglets who need to go for 6 months before they can start breeding, or do I start with something else? And again, since I'm not in a huge hurry, I'm hoping maybe piglets eat less. I will definitely get a few things that are at the point where they can already start having babies. But my thought is too, because the animal dealer is a ways away. It's over here under field 5, between 5 and 34. So I have to go by the custom silo, drive all the way around, and basically then, you know, come up here. It's not a short trip. There's not really an easy way to get here. There's not really a reason to not buy everything I can carry. So therefore, I am going to buy everything I can carry. So what I'm going to do, just spread them out evenly. I can get 36, so I'm going to get 12 of each kind. But what I'm going to do in the 12 Bentheim or Bentheim, again, I have no idea what they're pronounced, but just because they're not a solid color pig, that's the reason I picked it. No other logic other than that. I'm going to get half and half of these, so I'm going to get 6 piglets and 6 adults that are at breeding age, just so I can kind of see how that works differently. But then for the German Landrace and the Berkshire, I'm just going to get 12 piglets. Basically 2,400 for both of those, and then what, 1,200 for the 6 there, and then it was 3,150 for the final 6. You can see I've got 36 and 36. So at this point, if I was to sell them right now, they're worth 40 or 150. So about a fifth of what I paid for them. So we'll see how this all works out. But let's see. We can see them in there. We got little pigs. Well, little pigs and big pigs, I guess, but they all appear kind of the same size. That's disappointing. Are they going to be the same size when I get them there? It's hard to see, so I'm not going to keep trying to see. But I'm also going to be curious because this trailer didn't have a weight like the other trailers did. So I'm going to be curious if this is harder to haul fully stocked with animals, which it does not appear to be. So, but so far, I'm liking the choices I've made. I'm glad I went with the larger trailer because I had neglected to realize that the animal dealer was here. Somehow I thought it was near the custom silo, which is ridiculous because obviously I've visited that enough to either get supplies at the supply silos or to drop things at customs to note there's nothing else there. But somehow my head was thinking, oh, it's just over by the custom silo, so I just need to right now cut across field 8. So I was briefly debating in my head, like, well, I can get the smaller trailer. It'll be a few more runs, but what's the big deal? But now that I recall, or found out this is a much further run, it's good I did this. Yeah, it's interesting. Field 7 has got this layout too. I don't know if it's a certain crop that creates that with the soil in between versus just a solid surface. But yeah, it just did remind me as I've driven out here how many fields I still have to clean up if and when they come up for auction. So I'm definitely still got my work cut out for me. So while I've done a bunch, they all kind of are clustered over on the western side of the map, but the eastern side of the map has been pretty quiet in as far as things that are available. Nothing's come up for auction again for yet another couple days, so I'm not complaining. I don't need any land, just giving you guys information. But let me get these pigs back to the farm and we'll go from there. We'll see how hard it is to get them into where I placed the pigsty. Alright, so here we are. I'll bring you along to my adventure here. I believe the pen is right here. There it is. Yeah, all looks good. We've got that little tree in the corner, which I think was part of what was giving me fits. There's our dialogue. It looks like that's where I get maybe slurry, because I think that's what comes from pigs. I don't think we get straight manure. And then I assume the other one is where we feed them. So I just need to be careful here to not go into my field. So maybe I'm gonna think better of what I'm doing here, and I'm gonna get a little further away from the field before I start my turning so that I can get an angle going here and then start moving that way. Get back to where I have this animal dialogue, where I'm sure then something will come up and it will, there we go, open animal dialogue. So I am then going to move to husbandry. There they go. So adult pigs are moved. Our 6 piglets that go with them. And then we'll increase this. Well, whoops. Get our 12 piglets. And get ourselves our last 12 piglets. Let's go look at them. Turn off our truck. I'm so excited. I've never had animals. Alright, look at that. They're noisy, like I'd expect them to be. Some sit, some walk, some lay. Let's see. Can I go inside? I can. Ooh. Oh, I don't know that I want to go in there. I thought there was something I could see. I don't know what I thought might exist. Oh, now I don't know how to close the door. Oh, now I open the other door. Goodness. This is not helping me. Yeah, I don't want to let you guys out. I know. Teasing you. Alright. Alright, so at this point, as would be expected, the pen conditions are not anything at all. technically not healthy. They're not reproducing. They're not productive. They're not generating slurry. They don't have any straw, so I think if I give them straw, I can get manure, but I don't know that manure or slurry really matter. I'll have to take a look at that, I guess. That's the one thing I don't know, because I could use it on my fields. Of course, I'd have to get a manure spreader, or perhaps I can sell it. So I'm going to have to kind of see what I do with that as that starts to get filled up. But my confusion is on this food, because it doesn't really allow me to click and tell me anything. So it's just base food, grain, protein, and root crops, and that basically doesn't quite get me to 100%. So that's also kind of strange, because it's basically 49 and 49, which would get me to 98%. So it's almost as if I need potatoes or sugar beets. Not sure what protein would be. Might be soybeans, and grain obviously is wheat and barley, but does base food mean I need to give them corn and sunflowers? I guess I'm going to start to see as I do things, but initially I'm just buying them pig food, so I assume it's just going to tell me it's working, but I don't know. Well, this is part of what we're going to learn. How do we do this stuff? I'm pretty sure if we count them all, we don't have 36 actual pigs walking around here, but I don't know, because once we get to 108, it can get crazy in there. But let me go put this trailer away. Alright, so the thing, of course, is I have to put these things somewhere, and I did realize this, so for those of you thinking he hasn't thought this through, I did realize I'm going to have more equipment. But again, I know I've got land that I can just put things on. And so that trailer fits nicely there. It's something that in theory we're not going to need a lot. Similar to the honey trailer. Obviously when we take pigs to market, we're going to need it. But beyond that, I'm not going to need it. And rather than take up space in my shed, where these are things I more actively utilize, although there is a debate about whether the water trailer really constitutes that, but I could shove something in there. I've got places that I could put things, so I'm not going to not attempt something on the farm because I'm worried about equipment storage. I've got land, so and if I'm really going to be crazy, I'm seriously sitting there maybe I can put olive and grapes out in that little area and just make that my olive and grape thing, but I don't know. I think I better do a few things at a time. So anyway, I'm going to go get some water. I think I can get it from the river. We're going to find out. See you at the riverbank. So there's not really a better part of the river or a worse part of the river, so I just kind of drove straight across and figured, I assume I just need to get this in here. Will it? It won't. Let me see if there's no covers to open. Shoot. So they won't let us do this in FS 2022, will they? I can't. I mean, either that or I'm just not deep enough. Let me drive a little further into the river and see. Obviously, I'll keep an eye out. I guess I should put up my help menu. Alright, so you can see here, I can fill this from the water. I tried this in single player and was able to get it to work, so what I think it is just that thing isn't designed to do that. And it'll make some sense when we pull out here. Because you can see there's, kind of an inlet on the bottom there of the tank. So, one could argue that you're able to do that. So this was a $9,500 purchase. Gives us 7,300 liters. But we can fill with water from the river, which we can't do in the tanker. We were able to do that in FS19. The only thing I guess I can try is I can try to bring the tanker here and see if it's deeper, and somehow I just wasn't getting deep enough. I don't know. The other thing I did discover, even though it's not warning you that do not drive too deeply in the water, I broke my truck and I had to reset it to the shop and bring it back to the farm. Now, I don't know if it did additional damage to my truck that is going to require repair or not. I wasn't paying attention to the repair situation. It didn't look too bad. And it wasn't like when it reset me to the shop, it like required me to repair it before I could drive again. But, you know, we talked about doing pigs so we can learn. We're learning. Can't fill a tank that takes water from the river, at least not an appropriate one. And so once again, I don't take any issue with the situation. It's the reality of the mods and so forth. So, you know, and the reality is I probably couldn't back a full-size tanker into the river and fill it with water normally. It's just the hope was, obviously, you know, I could probably get 30 or 40,000 liters in there. So my next thing that I was going to potentially try if this didn't work, and I still may do it depending on how much water it seems these things need, because, you know, if they need 70,000 liters of water to be full with 36 pigs or something, you know, I don't know that I'm going to want to be going back and forth 10 times to the river, even though it's not that terribly far. But, you know, I guess it'll determine how difficult it is to get into where the water gets delivered. Because, like I said, I'm thinking the water gets delivered here, but I don't know. Because this may be where the food gets delivered. I guess we're going to find out. Because I don't see a trough anywhere for them. And, you know, but this is part of what I need to understand. So I guess there's actually 2 trees here. Alright, so it doesn't look like I can do anything there. Alright, so after failing to deliver the water, I've got the trailer just sitting there. I've got a question out to our Discord for FSN. Hopefully someone will respond while I'm doing this, but in the meantime I know I need to get them food. So I'm going to run to the store and get them some pig food. It looks like big bags are less expensive than pallets for 1,000 liters either way. So I'm going to do that, and my intent will be that I'll use my forklift to get them out, and hopefully that will work better than the water has worked. But that's the plan. So I'm going to get, I guess, a couple bags to start with. So 2,000 liters, because I don't know that more will easily fit on the trailer anyway. The telehandler that's there, you know, can be used for stuff like this, so we're not like required to drive our own forklift over or anything like that. It's just like any purchase place. Like if you've got, you know, they'll be happy to load your product for you, but obviously I've got to bring my own trailer and bring it over. So I'm going to do that and drag over the forklift to the pigsty. Drive it over, but and then I will show you how that goes, and hopefully that's gone better. And again, in the interim, hopefully in the 10-15 minutes that takes, someone will have responded on the water and I'll get a magical spot. My biggest fear is someone's gonna say, oh, that pig pen doesn't work, and then I'm going to have to basically remove it, which means I'm going to have to put the pigs in the truck, which is not the biggest thing, but I can't fit the big pig pen there, assuming that would work. And the small one doesn't take 30, and I'd really like more than 30 pigs anyway. I mean, to me, it's the same thing. Like, I really wouldn't want to get a chicken coop with 6 chickens, but anyway. See you when I get back. Alright, well, it just started raining, so, you know, why not? Like, not that I wasn't expecting it to potentially rain or that I wasn't going to have some sort of an issue, but... So, I'm a little concerned, frankly, because even the telehandler, which is way bigger than this thing, like... Not that it had difficulty lifting it, but I was just surprised how big these bags were compared to anything else. But in any event, you know, I'm going to do one at a time here for sure. I'm not going to try to get both. Boy. Great. Let's see. If I lean. Let's see. Up. Lean. Oh boy. Am I hitting it really, or... It's so hard to tell. I should just be able to drive this over here and have it unload. So, if that doesn't work, I again have so much fun. Come on. Alright, so I'm trying this. I can get pig food in the cramp, B, so I'm gonna do that and get it out of the bags at least. And see if I can back in and feed the pigs that way. Alright, so as you can see, I'm not getting a dialogue of any kind. I'm posting questions. At this point, I don't literally know what to do. This should certainly work. I just don't know if because these pig enclosures would not place on the map, if somehow pigs just don't work on this map, and therefore this enclosure therefore won't function. Obviously, the dialogue worked, so I don't know. So the person who was chatting with me in Discord decided to see if they could pop in and help me out. So that's what we have going on.
So you can see how the building itself is underground here. This is where the base of your pig feed should be, this circle here. So if I turn that back on and we look in this room, we can see that basically it didn't landscape for you. Which I think you did on purpose because it wouldn't let you place it. But that's the reason it's too high for your pig food to go in. So I'm just trying to see if we can figure out a trick here to allow you to do that or not.
So I assume we need to move the truck to get it out of there so you can place it properly, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just deleting this so I can see if there's anything that it's seeing as the object, instead of just to see if it's trees or if there's something else possibly laying here, a branch or something from another one. I think right there is going to be our best bet. Like
oh, just the top, so the rest of that cylinder should be below ground.
That's correct.
Okay, all right.
So the top is the same as the building lines here. You can see your bottom baseline, the red line on the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got most of this pretty good. And I think once winter comes, if you take some of these trees out on this side of it, then you should be able to smooth it out a lot better and make it easier. Do you got a trigger there?
I do. So we got everything working. Got the pig food in. They are fed. So he was able to help me ways that there's no way I'd be able to do, because he just knows more about the back end than I do with it. So the other thing he verified is I don't need to actually give them water, so I can actually sell this water tender back, although I may just hold on to it at this point in the event. I suddenly decide to do something else and need it. I guess it's only $9,500, and it's not like I'm going to get that money back. But we basically had to take all the pigs out of the pen. He first tried to kind of terraform things down, because basically what was going on, you can see here, like there's actually a concrete platform this silo's on. If you go back earlier in the video and take a peek, you'll see that you can't see that, and basically it was below grade, and that probably we determined was because of how people had told me to place things with the free mode, so it didn't landscape when the building went down. And what I couldn't tell was that there was a good height difference, so you can see here kind of how things are up. So this is probably how it should have placed it. So he smoothed things out and then determined, just in case we needed the landscape, that it was probably best to have this way. And then we were able to get to the trigger, and we were able to get the pig food in there. So I can now continue with the work and kind of get these guys all set up. But first I'm going to put everything back before I keep going. So yeah, the other thing we had tried to do, so you can see this bale trailer now has sides on it, which I went ahead and did because I had to go get some more pig food, because basically without a bucket, if we just dump that food somewhere, I don't have anything to scoop it up with. So we were trying to see if we could get the trigger to work, because he thought the trigger point on this trailer was lower. So I'm going to get this back configured to the bale trailer, because that's the easiest way for what I normally use it with. So I want to get that cleaned up. Alright, so at this point I'm going to buy 16,000 of pig food, and we're going to see, actually I'm going to buy 24,000 of pig food, because I'm sure I need at least that, and then we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, I had to step away for a bit. Obviously it's later in the day. So what ultimately ended up happening was the trigger point was too low in the ground for the pigsty based on how we were able to place it. Brian was able to help me out and adjust things in a way, including where we decided we would just place the pen again, which ultimately did, cost me a little bit of money, because basically you sell it back for about half what you paid. I think we got 54,000 back, and that's like 108,000 or 109,000 to buy it. So that's a little bit of the depletion of funds we have there. And we were then able to use both the trailers that we had put pig food in. So we had put it in the green trailer just as a test to not do much, and then we're able to empty this trailer. But at this point, obviously this trailer has higher volume, so we'll be able to pick up all 24,000 liters of pig food here, and we'll then be able to get that to them. And we don't need water, so that will make things pretty simple at this point. It just becomes a question of, do I want to keep paying $900 for 1,000 liters of pig food? So, in essence, obviously for these 27,000 we're going to have in there, we're basically paying like $25,000, which is more than we paid for the pigs in total, versus just growing it. And since pigs eat basically anything, we should be able to hold any level of crops. We're just going to have to determine how much we really need. So I'm going to pick these up, I'm going to get them over to the pigs, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, back near the farm, so we can see our little pigsty over there. we can back in a little bit easier from this side, as far as just getting straight in instead of trying to curve in a different way. So I can go in here. You can see kind of how I talked about where sometimes Farming Simulator doesn't give you full amounts. Obviously I bought 24,000, gave me 23,999. So somewhere we lost a leader, and it like had done that a couple of times while I was filling, but then went back to the full amount. It just I didn't get lucky at the tail end, so we'll potentially be a leader short, but it's kind of how it goes. So there we go, and we should be hitting the trigger soon, I would imagine. There we go. Whoops. A little too far. Just getting a little worried. Like, no, don't be broken again. But here we go. So, and it should easily take the full amount, and it does. And as you can see, so 26,933. So basically they've eaten, because we've given them 27,000, so they've eaten about 70 pounds of, or 70 liters, not quite, of food. They're also getting worth a little more. If you remember, I think they were $250 for the piglets, so they've already gained $8 and $17. The purchase price, if you recall, was 200 and I think 525. So obviously we've got a ways to go, but hopefully now that they're eating away, the thing I don't understand here is kind of how this all works. I would have expected these to be filled out a lot more. Alright, I just wanted to make sure it didn't change on me here. It did not, but because my understanding is pig food is like the perfect food for them. So, alright. So this becomes simpler because we don't even have to provide them with water. So we just have to give them some kind of food. And clearly for 36 pigs, that's about 36,000. Now in FS19, that food would last 2 days. So I'll have to keep an eye on this and see if in fact I need to supply them with 30,000 liters of food every 2 days, or does that last longer? Because in single player, things do last longer. I think filling things up went like 10 days, but I don't think that's going to stay in multiplayer, but it may, so we'll be able to tell as time goes by here over the next few days. But our pig experiment is beginning, like everything on my farms. Never without challenges. Definitely had significant ones this time that required, you know, looking at wireframes and people who knew how to do that. It was crazy, but we prevailed in the end, and that is the biggest takeaway. We did get it done. So I'm glad I'm able to have this. And who knows, you know, we may turn into an animal farm before we know this. I may suddenly start doing all kinds of stuff. I may find this a lot more enjoyable than just crops, so we'll find out. But for now, it's pigs and the pig pen that goes with them, and that's what we're doing. So I will see you next time.